Good morning, everyone. So what this is pretty much is when you're first starting out, when you're booking your clients and things like that, I know it can be intimidating on asking them, would you like to book your next appointment? Or I recommend to book your dog in 8 weeks, or whatever the case may be. So booking your dogs, getting them to rebook on your books is going to be critical. Now, I have a few little tips and things like that to maybe help land that client. You've already landed the person, you've already groomed the dog, now you want them to book again. And you know that dog is going to need grooming in 6 to 8 weeks. So how do you get the person that is not mentally conditioned, because that's what it is, especially out here in the rural country area, these people are not mentally conditioned to not mentally conditioned to think about their dogs to be groomed as often, okay? And so what I want to do is help you guys maybe throw out a few little phrases, maybe a few little gestures and things like that. So one of the things is when I first started grooming several years ago, nobody told me to ask them if they wanted to book their next appointment. They would call the shop, the dog would get booked on my books, and then I would groom the dog and then tell them it's blah, blah, blah amount of money, and they'd take their money and they would leave. I would never get I wasn't taught also ever to get information. I got the number to call them on the day. So I wasn't taught to keep records either. Now it's a different story. I keep my records. My phone is my records. That's where I keep all my information for all the clients. I ask for their phone number and where they live, and just the basics. And then it's put in my phone under the person's name, last name, and then I throw the dog's name in there, and then what breed it is, so that when they call me, I can say, it's George Regal with Louie the Labradoodle kind of thing. So I automatically know who's calling me once I have their number. Now, for the classic information one is pretty much the dog comes in, you groom it, and before they leave, you get ready to ask them, would you like to book your next appointment? Okay, that little simple phrase will grab a lot of people. Now, some of them, they're going to be cheap and stingy, and they're going to say, no thank you, I'll call you when I'm ready, or I'll see you in 6 months. It's like, no, that's not going to work. So my little trick on that little phrase, okay, because that's eventually a few months after learning to groom, someone taught me to say those words, and that helped me rebook my books so much faster. So I always had a continuous booking. I wasn't living week to week with grooms. Now, my biggest thing was I still couldn't ever get them to book with me. So what I learned to do was basically say, would you like to book your next appointment? It's blah, blah, blah. It's June 6th or whatever day it was, okay? I learned to say, would you like to book your next appointment on June 2nd, okay? And then, usually they would go, oh, June, okay, yeah. They think of it that way, and then they book the appointment. Another thing, because I still had a few clients that weren't taking it, and they just didn't get it. So pretty much what I started doing was, after maybe a couple times of them calling or coming in, and you kind of got to figure out what their pattern was. So in about 4 months, they're trying to come in for a groom. So let's try to push it maybe to 3 months. And what I would end up doing would be, okay, for instance, Bandit Smith. Okay, I know this client of mine is usually about every 3 months. You probably saw me do Bandit, is another video on how to do a drop-coated dog. So that's Bandit. I just did him last week sometime. I know in about 3 months, if I don't call them or remind them, they're going to be calling me. So what I have learned to do was pretty much take my business cards, go 3 months in advance, find a day that I knew that they were going to be happy with in a time, because you tend to figure out the figure out the pattern of your clients. Okay, this client likes something in the morning, this one likes only Thursdays in the afternoons. Get to know your clients that way. Okay, and then when she came in, I simply wrote down the time and the date. Didn't write it in my books. Now here's the key. Okay, I would walk up to the person, whoever's picking up, and go, okay, Bandit's next appointment is whatever at this time, and give them a card with that time on it. If they say, okay, great, and take the card, I go write it in my book. And then if they didn't take it and they go, oh no, that's not going to work, I said, would you like to change the date? If they still say no, it's like, okay, fine. I didn't write it in my book. I didn't have to worry about it. I just take the card back and I rip it up. It's no big deal. But I found that if I simply just give them a card and say, here's the next date and time that I have for you, they would take it. And so I found that that was a easy way. You just didn't even ask them. You just told them that this is their next appointment. And that really, really helped me book a lot of the people and train them. Because think of it this way. We have to train our clients to rebook their dogs. Because they're, again, not conditioned in that way of getting their dogs done on a regular basis. So I would tell them, here's the next appointment. And they would take it. And I've had a few people say, no, thank you. It's like, okay, no big deal. I didn't even write them in the book, so it's not like I have to go white them out or anything like that. The book is available. So that was like one of my really key things. Now, for the ones that say, no thank you, I'll call you when I'm ready, whatever, but you already know that dog is going to need grooming in 8 weeks because you didn't shave it down. You left about yay much on it. I'm going to show you my book, okay? It can look like a big mess to you guys, but I'm going to flip this around and show you my book, and I'm going to sort of explain. If you guys are interested in the book that I use, it's free, it's printable. I went down to Office Max or Office Works and simply had it printed out on really heavy like card paper, front to back, and it was free. I will put the link in the descriptions after I'm done with this video because I gotta go find it. But there's a lot of different free PDFs and you can go in and change them. But I printed out, it's free, even better. And then to go print it off cost me like 20 bucks. So my whole entire book was like 20 bucks, and then maybe the time that I spent punching the holes. So bear with me. We're gonna flip this around. Okay, so my lovely book. Now I've gone back into January. Now Monday and Tuesdays I do not work, and you see different highlighted days. Those are the days I'm in a different town. So I have my towns color coded so that I can tell where I'm at real quick when I'm looking. So pink is when I'm in Hay. This is during the kids are in school, and then this is Hillston. As you see, I have written Hillston right here. Now, the ones that are highlighted, those are ones that already are rebooked on my books. I don't have to think about it. So that's a quick little thing I do so that I know who's booked in and who is not. And these are pretty much all my VIPs. So, so Allie and Lucy and Coco, Teddy, and things like that. They're already rebooked. Now, like Corky Booth and Toby Woods and Frankie Lugston, these guys are not rebooked for 8 weeks out. What I do with the dogs that are not booked for the end of the week, I come over and I write them in my little notes and reminders. So as you can see, this is my week. I like weeks because then I can just count going 1, 2, 3, and you get the point. So when I write them over here in the notes. These are written 9 weeks because I think it fell, I wasn't coming back to work till that point. So I would write them over here and go Aussie Par or Scruffy Par and blah blah blah. And I would normally write 8 weeks. That was 9 weeks for a reason. This is a cat for me, and then 8 weeks. And I would then write basically a D next to it because those were all my Deneliquin dogs. Some weeks you won't have any, like if you take any times off, and sometimes there's not a whole lot that you've written up here. Now, when I go to text them, I either text, call, or Facebook them, okay? I'll put a T next to it if I've texted them. I'll put an F next to them if I've Facebooked them. I'll put a C next to them if I've called them. And then if they've called me to book, I'll put a check mark. So they're already booked and done. I'm trying to see. Here we go. Here's some. I've put some T's next to those guys. And then these ones, they're out of town, so I already know that I don't need to call them. And you get to learn your clients. And again, I put, if they're in a different town other than hey, I put the what do you call it? The initial of the town there. So, switch that around. So, those are what I do is, so 8 weeks out, I will count in my book 8 weeks and write that dog's name down, and then I will call, text, or Facebook them on those days, and I have a little blurb that pretty much reads out I don't even remember it because I just copy and paste it pretty much, and I'll put that up there as well, so that you guys are welcome to copy that and use that as your own. I find that when I send those out, I'll spend maybe 30 minutes just copy, paste, text. All I have to change is the name of the dog in there. And then if I get somebody to text back and reply back to it, great. It didn't cost me anything. It just costed me about 30 minutes of my time to send out X amount of texts or Facebooks. And then, you know, we have those older people that don't have either or don't know how to text and don't know how to Facebook, so you just have to pick up the phone and call. That's one in a few, so that's really not that big of a deal. This is again how I condition my people to get into a habit. Okay, now when doing it this way, okay, if you're not just demanding here's your appointment, or you're not asking here's your appointment, or would you like to book your appointment, this is the next step. Okay, if you are too shy to ask for the next appointment, put them down here and send a text 8 weeks later. Or do it maybe a couple weeks ahead of time so that they're getting booked in by 8 weeks. Then pretty much this will take a few months to train your clients to do this. By doing this solely would probably take about 6 to 7 months to train them to where they're booking the appointment. Or you will find they're waiting for that text for you to text them or call them, and they go, oh, when's Bowie ready for his appointment? Or Bowie's getting close to his appointment, I think. Can we book an appointment? So you're going to find they're going to start calling you before the time has come, which is great. You don't have to sit there and do that. So those are my little tips in the sense of what I tell. I get my people to rebook, and I don't have so many over here in the notes and reminders little page nearly as much as I used to, because again, I got a lot of them that have just literally booked out for the entire year. That's another little tip. If you can get, say, your really good clients to book out for the year, I take $5 off. Okay, it's not much money. It's less than 10% of what it is that I'm asking. So I'm not giving them 10%, not giving them 5%. I'm taking $5 off, which puts them back at my old price. That's another thing is if they don't want to do your price raise, don't want your price rise or raise or however you want to say it, encourage them to book for the whole year and book them at that price. But tell them the next year, so it's a whole entire year away, that it'll go up to the $65 because you'll raise your prices again. You're just going to keep it $5 less. And I find that is another incentive to try to get people to book. And that's how I've got dogs booked all the way out to December. And believe it or not, my week before Christmas is full. Right now in March, it's full. It's booked out. I cannot squeeze another dog in. And I really am a stickler as to how many dogs I do a day, because I like to have my time. I don't like to be rushed. I don't like to be told that, you know, they're dropping the dog off at 1 o'clock and they need to pick it up at 1:45. Nope, sorry. If that's the case, you can just book your dog on another day. Another thing when it comes to booking dogs, okay, my business cards, if you went to my actual like Dilly Grooming page, okay, whoops, there we go. It's all backwards, I know, I'm sorry guys. But if you can see, I have my cancellation, you probably can't read it. And I will put it up again. I'll put my terms and conditions up. I'll put those things up in the notes or the comments up above so that you guys can read it and look at it. Now, I definitely put, like when I book an appointment and I give them a card, I make sure that it has my term, or at least my cancellation policy on there. And not that I'm a stickler for it or anything like that, but pretty much it reads, cancellation policy. In the event you provide 24 hours or more notice for a cancellation, you will not be charged a cancellation fee. Should you provide less than 24-hour notice, you will be charged a cancellation fee of 50% of the quoted groom price. So, pretty much, if it's $85 is what I am quoting them for, they're owing me $42. In saying that, I'm not a big stickler on this. I use this more as a deterrent to get them to at least call me ahead of time to cancel the appointment, okay? I hate going to a town. I have my books fully booked. I already have a whole cancellation list of people that want in on that day, and I can't get them in because I got all these other dogs that are already booked on my books. And they no-show. Or they call me an hour before and cancel. And it's like, God damn it. And I do have a little blurb that I send them that. Now, I'll be honest, I've had probably 10 people like not give me a 24-hour notice ahead of time since I've started doing this, which was 8 or 9 months ago, okay? 10 people that have canceled on me within the 24 hours or simply just no-showed. I will sometimes send them a reminder about 15 minutes after the appointment's already done if I can get them to come. At that point, I tell them I keep their dog all day. I do not try to push their dog out. Their dog gets squeezed in between everybody else because I've already kind of counting on that money. But when they cancel on me, I will send this. If they do not pay this within 5 business days of me sending the little letter and having all my details and the amount, and or they don't rebook because we'll put that over on their next groom. I've had one person pay an extra 50% of the groom price on top of the groom for their next appointment. One person. I've had 10 people cancel, but only had one person actually honor it and do it. I've never ever been paid the 50%. I don't care. I really don't care. I use it as a deterrent, okay? I'm not a big stickler. I'm not going to be that pushy for it. But if they do not pay it, guess what? They go on my blacklist. My blacklist are people that I make a note of in my phone, and literally their little icon is black. So when they call me and it's black, I simply go, okay, that reminds me that, and also because I put the notes in there, when they call, it pops up, I see that, or I make a little note somewhere that, I have a blacklist of people. So if the name sounds familiar or something sounds familiar, I will jump over to that page, double check that, they're not on my blacklist, and I'll remind them. It's like, okay, well, that's fine. I'm happy to book the appointment for you, but you still owe a cancellation fee from last time or a no-show fee from last time of blah, blah, blah. Would you like to book your appointment and add that? We can add that to your groom. A lot of times, they'll say no thank you and leave. And I have had 3 people off those 10 out of those 10 come back and try to, they've come back after calling me a 3rd time to book their appointment because, they're very satisfied with everything that they hear about me, or they hear and been told by other clients that I'm the best. Not to toot my horn, but that's what other people are saying, and so that makes me feel good. And it's a demand. They want you to do their dog because you're the best, and that's one of the other things. that I do recommend. A lot of people go, oh no, I don't do that, or I don't do booking fees or anything like that. Pretty much if they don't pay this cancellation fee thing, I simply just put them on a blacklist and let them go. Okay, I don't fret over it. I don't worry about that, because there's plenty of other fish in the sea. Okay, when you get to a point where your books are booked out, and then you can start being picky and choosy as who you book and who you don't. So that I don't carry on too much on what I'm doing, and I have other people popping in, I'm going to let this go. If you guys have any questions, again, I'm willing to help you. Message me, okay? We can do a video chat and I can help work out your books with you, or we can work out a saying for you, or I'm happy to help you in any way, shape, or form. If you guys go to my Dilly grooming page, you guys can easily just click on the phone and call me. I know in a few places, I know that I had put it up here, call me. I'm happy to help and chat when I can. I'm off on Monday and Tuesdays, so those are usually the days that you guys can get a hold of me. Any other time, I'm working 5 days a week in different places and things like that. But I hope that this helps a little bit in the sense of how to land your clients and get them on a regular basis. So I will let you guys go, and for you that have come in late, you guys can simply watch the video later. Please, please, please invite your friends, okay? Your other groomer friends. I want this page only for groomers. I don't want the public going into it, because they don't need to know our little trade secrets, okay? So bring them in. Feel free to share the page to your friends if you want. I do post this occasionally in other pages, trying to get people to come over here, because again, I don't want to be the only person doing this. If somebody else has a better tip than me, or has something else that works, by golly, I want you to come on here. Please help me. I don't want to be the only person giving these little advice tips, because you know, we all need to stick together as groomers and help each other out, because there's not that many of us, and we really all just need to stick together, because the worst thing that we can do is divide and start hating each other. I know we may not dislike each other, but we need to at least still stick together. All right, so talk to you later. See ya, and we'll